It's a Multiverse Story Arc episode. We're going to take Blaster from the Autobots and we're going to Venomize him. So let's bring this illustration to life.
Blaster was in the Ark, listening to his favourite rock and roll Earth songs, in his tape deck mode, when Teletran 1 noticed that Optimus Prime and Hotrod were returning. Blaster transformed back into his robot mode, ready to report to Optimus Prime about the events happening on Cybertron. Optimus and Hotrod were in their normal forms, and not the new venomized forms that they had gained while out in the desert. Optimus Prime entered the Ark. Optimus, we have communication from Moonbase 1. Megatron has left Cybertron and is on his way back to Earth. Put me through to Moonbase 1 right away. We need to find out what Megatron is up to, since returning to Cybertron and the destruction of the space bridge to prevent his return to Earth. This is the first time he has left in an attempt to return. Blaster transformed into tape deck mode and interfaced with Teletran 1, ready to begin a transmission. Moonbase 1, this is Earth. Moonbase 1, this is Earth. Come in, Moonbase 1. Suddenly, Spike and Jazz appeared on the screen and replied, Earth, this is Moonbase 1. Optimus Prime began to speak. We need to find out what Megatron is up to. Do you have any idea why he left Cybertron? Optimus, chatter from Cybertron, and he has gone in search of a power that can allow him to win the war for Cybertron. There's a rumour on the way to Earth he has found something that is more powerful than anything we have ever encountered before. There's something about a Decepticon outpost being wiped out by this unknown force. We must be cautious. If Megatron has found a new power to aid him in his efforts, we need to be prepared. Luckily, while out and about, I may have encountered what we need to restore the balance, if the rumours are saying it. Spike and Jazz both replied, Really? What have you found, Optimus? I will inform you later after I confirm if this will work, as I hope. Keep an eye out for more news. Prime out. With that, Blaster ended the communication and disconnected from Teletran 1. Prime, did you really find something here on Earth that can go against whatever Megatron has found, if those rumours are true? I have indeed, old friend. What would you like to see? Yes, replied Blaster. With that, Optimus put his hand on Blaster's shoulder and changed into his new venomized form. Prime, what is this? Before Blaster could do anything, part of the symbiote from Optimus' hand separated and began to merge with him. Within moments, Blaster was engulfed in the symbiote and fused with his Cybertronian DNA. A few moments later, Blaster, in his new venomized form, was born. Filled with new strength and power, he looked at Optimus Prime and smiled. Now I understand, Prime, what you meant. We must share this power with the rest of the Autobots before Megatron gets to Earth. Fear not, my friend. We shall, till all are one. And that's where I'm going to leave it on this one. Wanted to just tie things together with bringing back the Autobots being venomized in the Multiverse Story Arc, and had a lot of fun doing the design for Blaster. He's basically Soundwave's counterpart. So the key idea for this is that he has the same abilities in a way as Soundwave. He'll have the tape decks that will be venomized forms later on in the Multiverse Story Arc. He kind of has a passion and a hate for the Decepticons, but a bit of respect for Soundwave, so there could be quite an epic battle later on. I also wanted to add in something similar to what's happening on the Decepticon ship with Shrapnel, where venomized versions are slowly spreading through each of the ranks from the Decepticons and the Autobots. This was mainly just to tie things together and also bring a bit more suspense to the story. In terms of this piece, I've got Blaster in quite a nice pose. He's in quite a powerful stance, but at the same time kind of noble, but you can tell it's him. I just wanted to have about half the symbiote on one side of him, just giving a nice effect. Later on, you'll see I've gone with a bit more of a busier and more impactful background than I normally do. I decided I wanted to spice things up a bit. I've also been using a few different brushes on this one, so the final effect is a bit more polished and a bit more rendered in some areas with shading. I think this works really well for the composition of the piece. Make sure you watch to the end, and I hope you enjoy bringing this illustration of Venomized Blaster to life.
Take much more now. I can't hold on to everything. I don't know what to say now.
So as a treat for you guys, I thought I'd show a little bit of my process for adding the metallic highlights onto a transformer in this illustration using Procreate. I initially wanted to do a soft airbrush and have that reflect on the main kind of like glass bit of the tape deck, but that didn't really work. I later on went to do a soft airbrush again, but I used the select tool, and the key bit with this lasso tool is that I can get those crisp lines and then gradients blending in, and if you set your soft airbrush to a low opacity, you can get this really cool effect where it just adds to the shine and the texture. And this is one of the fun parts of doing the illustration. It is a bit time consuming, but the overall effects at the end are so worth it. I promise you, if you use this technique even on non-metallic objects and just have it brighter at your light source going to the shadows for a gradient, it will add so much to your artwork. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the process of bringing Blaster to life in his Venomized form. I think this one came out really well. I love the contrast between him and the background. If you want to see more Multiverse Story Arc episodes, I have a playlist on the channel, which I'll link in the description. You guys suggested in a future video, possibly Venomizing the Dinobots in one episode, which is something that sounds kind of fun. Subscribe, turn on notifications to update videos as they come out. Smash the like button. Stay safe, everybody. I'll catch you next time.